America's watching ABC.
Good evening, I'm Bob Opsahl.
I'm Marla Weech. In the news, the space shuttle Atlantis. It's scheduled for launch tomorrow night, but something could keep it on the ground.
Local Haitians were loudly protesting tonight because some of their countrymen will not be allowed to stay here.
Plus, state troopers are targeting one stretch of highway looking for speeders.
More next on Eyewitness News.
WFTV Orlando. Live from Channel 9, Central Florida's news leader. Bob Opsahl, Marla Weech, Danny Treanor's weather, and Pat Clarke with sports. This is Eyewitness News Tonight.
Good evening. Our top story tonight. Only hours remain before the scheduled launch of the space shuttle Atlantis. But the weather is a big if tonight.
The mission to launch a spy satellite hinges on cooperation from Mother Nature. Richard Froelich's been at the Kennedy Space Center tonight, and he joins us now live from our Brevard County newsroom. Richard?
Well, Bob, we're looking at a 60-40 chance that the shuttle will take off later this evening. There's a 10-day mission plan for the space shuttle Atlantis, and in that mission, the principal goal will be to launch a spy satellite for the Air Force. All of that, as you said, depends on the weather, and right now, that is not guaranteed. Without doubt, weather is the biggest factor right now in the Tuesday launch of Atlantis. Rain hit KSC Monday, and any repeat of this Tuesday night would mean a scrub launch.
Well, you don't want extreme winds. You don't want to fly through rain. You don't want to fly through clouds because you get a lot of vibration going through clouds when the shuttle's flying through them. And then you don't want your shuttle landing facility to be covered either.
And all of these are a possibility right now if the weather doesn't improve.
That's correct.
The primary goal of STS-44 is to deploy the $300 million DSP satellite. It would be one of over a dozen such instruments in the sky, and it would scan for the launch of nuclear weapons. The Air Force, in a rare move, chose not to classify this launch.
Well, I think there's not as much of a threat internationally as maybe there used to be. Cold War's over, Russia has broken down, and I think the Air Force just feels a little bit more open about things.
Launch is still scheduled for 6:51 p.m. Tuesday night. Now, this satellite, the DSP satellite, as I said, there are several of them already in orbit. Some of them, in fact, picked up the Scud missiles during the Iraqi war, by the way, in the Gulf. The shuttle astronauts will also test how closely they can spy on the Earth from the shuttle. They have a professional spy on board. We'll see just how closely he can monitor events down here. As far as the weather's concerned, all they can tell you right now is keep your fingers crossed. Back to you.
In the meantime, the countdown clock continues to tick.
Yes, it does.
All right, thank you, Richard. Well, just like clockwork, local Haitians are continuing their regular demonstrations west of downtown Orlando. They've been staging their political protests ever since a coup overthrew the government in their homeland.
But they're taking some safety precautions following a shooting near that location last week, as Anita Smith reports.
The Haitian community gathers, as it has every day for weeks now, demonstrating for democracy in their homeland, an island ripped by violence since a late September coup ousted the president. In that vein, they sing a morbid song.
The song right now is asking the people to be aware of what the army is doing, to watch in every corner of the street when the army man is coming because he's getting ready to kill you.
But the violence is not confined to the Caribbean island. Late Friday, someone gunned down 2 of the demonstrators in Orlando, wounding them, a move some say is surely political. These people would be an easy target once again. They demonstrate right off of busy Orange Blossom Trail, but there are safety precautions now. The group has hired an off-duty Orlando officer. Another officer stands by across the street. The people have been warned to arrive and leave in groups of at least 3. About 50 are here this night. They've refused to stay home scared.
Well, we're still out here because we believe in justice. We believe in democracy. You cannot kill democracy with a gun.
They say they'll continue to demonstrate as long as the people at home need their support. In Orlando, Anita Smith, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
The 2 demonstrators shot Friday are both listed in stable condition tonight at Orlando Regional Medical Center. The gunman is still at large. Bob?
And this is just into us here at Eyewitness News. A search for 4 missing boaters on Lake Apopka has just come to an end. All 4 men from Apopka are safe. They were supposed to return from a fishing trip about 6 o'clock tonight. They didn't make it back. Orange County's chase helicopter, rescue boats were all searching the lake until just minutes ago when they found the men, and once again, they are apparently okay. We'll have an update on the story on Eyewitness News Daybreak beginning at 6 a.m. A 3-year-old Orlando boy is dead tonight, the victim of an accidental drowning. Little Kyle Griffin was pulled from a storm drain in Lake Davis yesterday. His parents said he may have been underwater for as long as 30 minutes. Doctors at Arnold Palmer Hospital fought to save his life, but they couldn't do it. A little girl who drowned is also in the news tonight, and not just because of her death, but because of the way her 911 call was handled. 2-year-old Heather Mellor died Friday night after falling into a pond near her house. The woman who made the call wanted medical assistance from the 911 operator, but she couldn't get it. Osceola County doesn't allow that. Well, a former dispatcher who wants to remain anonymous told us today she doesn't like that policy.
I think it's wrong. We're there to help the people. We're there to help the public. That's what 911 was all about. That's why that was started in this county, was to help.
Now, Osceola County's Director of Emergency Services is going to have a staff meeting tomorrow to discuss that 911 call.
A Brevard County teenager will be back in court tomorrow to face trial in the murder of a Titusville gas station manager. Police and prosecutors claim that 18-year-old Eugene Roberson was the trigger man in last year's slaying of Stephen Dumont. 2 other teens have already been convicted in that crime. If Robertson is convicted, he could face death in the electric chair. A Sanford police officer accused of sexually molesting a teenaged boy will undergo testing for the HIV virus. Attorneys for Officer Guy Brewster say he'll take the test voluntarily. His alleged victim was a former police explorer. The state attorney prosecuting this case hints that there is a possibility that more than one child may have been involved. Daytona Beach police moved quickly to nab a bank robbery suspect today. They arrested 34-year-old Mark Alvin Frank less than 4 minutes after the Volusia Avenue Barnett Bank was robbed. Witnesses told police they watched Frank leave the parking lot on foot. Lawmen are trying to determine if Frank had anything to do with 5 other bank robberies in the area in the past week.
A new study shows that people convicted of federal crimes like bank robberies will face the toughest sentences in North Florida. Judges up there apparently hand down sentences nearly twice as lengthy as the national average. Central and South Florida judges also tougher than the national average. There's no explanation, though, given for that difference. The Florida Highway Patrol has an easy explanation tonight for its crackdown along I-4. It wants to stop speeders. FHP is trying to keep speeders from using a prime stretch of I-4 from Lake Mary to Kissimmee. The AAA Auto Club has now designated that area a prime speed zone and is warning its customers to be wary.
Experts from the Environmental Protection Agency were scheduled to arrive tonight in Brevard County. They're going to hone in on the neighborhood of South Patrick Shores. They're looking into residents' claims that contamination from a military dump site is responsible for a cluster of cancer cases within a 7-block area of South Patrick Shores. The American Red Cross is overhauling the way it handles blood within its system. Safety testing on blood collected will now be centralized. Instead of testing being handled by 53 laboratories, it will be done by main laboratories, 14 main laboratories around the country. By the way, the Central Florida Blood Bank is not part of the Red Cross system. The only blood affected by the change in our area is the blood donated in Volusia County.
Orange County firefighters tried to save a trailer home in Taft tonight. They couldn't do it because it was engulfed in flames by the time they got there. But the man inside the trailer was able to get out unhurt. So far, investigators have not determined the cause of this fire. Fire investigators in Osceola County haven't pinned down the cause of this mobile home fire either. 2 children died in this blaze about 2 weeks ago while their mother was just a few doors away. Investigators say they'll continue searching, though, until they have a definite cause for the fire. Tomorrow's AccuWeather forecast is a little more important than usual because of the shuttle launch. Danny Treanor's next with our AccuWeather forecast.
And picking up the pieces after hurricane-force winds hit the northwest.
Plus, winning the battle to rescue an endangered species, the California gray whale.
But first, tonight's winning Cash 3, Play 4, and Fantasy 5 numbers. It's another night of cleaning up storm damage for people along the coast in Washington state. Hurricane-force winds uprooted dozens of trees and caused plenty of damage over the weekend. Electricity is still out in many homes because power lines remain down. This was one of the worst windstorms to hit the Seattle area in a while.
Cleaning up just in time for another storm. It's about 750 miles offshore that will be working its way in there by the middle of the week. So they've cleaned up just in time to clean up.
Maybe they'll get the electricity on back.
You know, we had some showers over there on the East Coast this morning. Some people had a sizable amount, about 4/10 of an inch, pretty close to ½ an inch. And some of those showers worked their way inlands. I don't know if you ran across a shower today. I did.
I did too.
And that's going to be the case for tomorrow. But we think there's going to be a few more holes punched in the cloud cover, which will allow some more sunshine. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the threat of rain goes away. But it's not very big. It's only about 20%. By the way, I found out one of the secret experiments the guys are going to be doing on the shuttle.
Yeah,
they'll be dropping water balloons out the window.
To see if they can see them?
Yeah, see what happens. Let me show you what's going on radar right after we check today's stats. We got up to 79 in Orlando, 76 in Daytona, 79 in Melbourne, and 78 in Ocala. We've had various amounts of rain, a lot of it very little. We could use some more rain. It's that time of year. Here's what we have on radar right now. Not a lot going on right now, but we'll double check that with the lightning indicator. That's quiet also. But even if the showers do pop up this time of the year, they tend not to be the thunder showers, mostly just the light rains that come through. And if you're lucky enough, maybe they'll sit in your area for a while and drop maybe about 1/4 of an inch of rain. Here's what we see going on across the continental United States. You can see a little bit of the storm as it pushes in here around the Pacific Northwest, and like I say, that will be pushing down to the Rockies. They expect a lot of snow out of that. Colorado got hit pretty good during the past 24 hours. And the next thing we want to pay attention to is the storm system that's making its way across the plain states. It affected Texas today with about 1/4 to ½ an inch of rain. Now that same system will develop another low right around Louisiana during the next 48 hours, and it will become our next weather system. But it's not immediate. That system's going to sit there for a couple of days. Then it'll start moving and give us a threat of rain, more likely on Thursday and even higher probability on Friday. So I think maybe by the end of the week we're talking about a chance of rain and then may lap over into the weekend. But things can change before we get there. We'll worry about tomorrow. You see some showers along the coastal areas this evening. Here's some of the cloud cover, and there is a chance for some fog, so be aware of that. But those light showers are going to make those roads tricky over along the East Coast in the morning on your way to work. High pressure system has now opened the door to the Gulf of Mexico to allow a lot of moisture to push into the eastern United States, and that means with an approaching front out west, we could be talking about some shower activity, particularly around the Appalachians. Part of this is going to break off. One part's going to go north, and it will continue to move. The southern part of this will probably stay around the Mississippi Valley for a couple of days. Cold spot in Colorado, 10 degrees. Corpus Christi with 86. By tomorrow, that high pressure system moves a little further east, more moisture out of the Gulf and Caribbean, and we're going to see a gradual warming trend, and the chance of rain will be going up. As far as temperatures at night, make it in the 70s. Daytime temperatures will probably be around 80 degrees, 1 or 2 punches in that cloud cover, and we will definitely get to 80 degrees. And at 7 a.m. in the morning, there may be some coastal showers, and temperature inland will probably be around 64 degrees, around 7 a.m. Currently, here are some temperatures around the state. In the 60s inland, 70s along the coast. Here now, the temperature in Orlando, 68. Winds northeast at 8 and the barometer's rising. Daytona Beach at 70 degrees, winds southeast at 7 and the barometer's steady. The forecast is for times of clouds with a high tomorrow of 82. There'll also be times of sun. The chance of rain around 40%. Here's the 5-day. I can see the chance of rain increasing as we get toward the end of the week. In the meantime, let's hope everything goes well for the shuttle. I'm not going to predict it'll go off. Sometimes I've seen them change the criteria for launch.
Oh, sure.
It's always tough to predict that one.
Yep.
All right, thanks a lot, Danny. Efforts to save the endangered California gray whale from extinction have apparently paid off tonight. The latest census shows the number of gray whales has increased to 21,000. That's up from a low of about 2,000 just a few years ago. The gray whales will still be protected as a threatened species, and marine experts say this is a great success story for protecting a breed of whales.
Americans who are out of work may get a much-needed envelope in the mail from the government. Up next, Uncle Sam says the check's in the mail.
Also, the Kennedy clan is turning out to back up one of their own who's in trouble. Will Jackie O also show?
But first, here's a wrap-up of Wall Street today. One of the 5 remaining candidates hoping to become the next president of the University of Central Florida is in town tonight. Arlene Okerlund is currently vice president for academic affairs at San Jose State in California. She points out that both schools heavily emphasize business, engineering, and research. All 5 candidates will be in town next week for individual interviews.
If you've been unemployed for more than 6 months, there's a letter in the mail for you. It's from Uncle Sam to about 300,000 people here in Florida. And if you get one, you could qualify for an extra 13 weeks of unemployment benefits. And you won't have to show up at the unemployment office like a lot of these folks did today. A Brevard County man is recovering in the hospital tonight from an explosion at his motel this morning. That blast destroyed the Riverside Motel in Melbourne. The man inside was badly burned, but nobody else was hurt. Investigators say it was a gas explosion, but they're not sure how it happened. They're still trying to find out.
Another slow day for jury selection in the rape trial of William Kennedy Smith, but the crowd in the courtroom today included a new face. Smith's cousin, John F. Kennedy Jr., was there for the proceedings. Kennedy is an assistant district attorney in New York City. Another famous relative, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, is also expected to attend next month's trial as a show of support for Smith.
2 hostages gain their freedom after years in captivity. Up next, what are the chances the remaining American hostages will be released?
And who are the winners of America's highest civilian award, the Medal of Freedom? We'll be right back.
2 former hostages are on their way home tonight after years of captivity in Lebanon. These pictures were from earlier today while they were still in Syria. American Thomas Sutherland has arrived now in Germany, and Briton Terry Waite is in Cyprus. Both men were freed today by their kidnappers in Lebanon. Sutherland was held captive for more than 6 years. Waite was a hostage for almost 5 years. Both men said they believe 3 other American hostages would be released sometime in the next few weeks.
The drive to put a cap on credit card interest rates has run into a roadblock tonight. The House of Representatives is backing away from a bill passed last week by the Senate. Lobbyists from the banking industry are fighting the bill. President Bush says he's against the plan and may veto it even if it is passed by Congress. The maker of the most commonly prescribed sleeping pill in the country is adding a warning label to its product. The sleeping pill is Halcyon. Its maker, the Upjohn Company, is adding the warnings after criticism from consumer groups that Halcyon has been linked to dangerous side effects. The drug is already banned in England.
10 new winners tonight of America's highest civilian award, the Medal of Freedom. President Bush presented the medals during a White House ceremony today, and some of the winners include former First Lady Betty Ford, former House Speaker Tip O'Neill, plus baseball great Ted Williams. He was honored for outstanding military service during World War II and the Korean War.
Well, the hostage release is the subject on Nightline tonight. What are the chances the remaining Americans will soon be freed, and how did the others that were freed today survive? That's right after Eyewitness News Tonight.
But up next in sports, the newest Magic Man. Pat Clarke talks with top draft pick Brian Williams, who signed a new contract today. Stay with us. Well, hi there, Pat.
Well, hello.
Gee, we get to see and talk for a second here tonight.
Yeah, well, there's nothing else to do, is there?
That's for sure, not at this hour.
It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the Dolphin fans probably have gone to bed because, in fact, maybe they went to bed about midway through the fourth
They're
quarter.
probably having nightmares already.
Kind of a rough night for them.
Yeah.
Many of you who are still with us at this late hour are here because you just finished watching the Finns and the Bills. A game important for both teams, certainly more so for the Finns, who at 5-5 are again struggling for a wild card spot in the AFC. And it's no secret that there's no love lost between these two teams. Finns got on the board first with a field goal as Don Shula looked on. Excuse me, but then Jim Kelly went to work, finding all-purpose man Thurman Thomas on this 10-yard scoring strike. That would make the score 7-3. Buffalo would lead at halftime, 20-13. They certainly didn't leave. Bills opened things up in the third. Again, it's Thomas making it 34-13. Buffalo extended it in the fourth, 22-yard TD pass from Kelly to Andre Reed. Kelly had 3 TD passes tonight. Bills win. The Finns slip below 500. 41-27 was the final. I can guarantee you tonight that the folks who cover the Orlando Magic for a living are happy that Brian Williams is finally signed, sealed, and delivered. The month-and-a-half holdout of Williams kept a lot of the media guessing, and the noted bad blood that existed and perhaps still exists between Magic president Pat Williams and Fred Slaughter, the agent representing Brian, certainly reached its own level of ridiculous. In fact, the media was told that today's press conference to announce the signing would begin at 4. It actually got underway at about 5:30, but Williams is signed and the holdout is over. It's believed that the deal is a 4-year contract worth nearly $5 million. A lot of the haggling in this bitter negotiating process concerned the salary cap. The Magic said they had offered as much as they could without going over the cap. Slaughter contended that Pat Williams didn't manage his money very well. Apparently, differences were cleared up and a happy medium was met.
So I did not want it to draw out this long, and I know the community and its supporters of the Orlando Magic. I even received some letters out in California with no return address, of course, stating to, basically get your butt out here soon. I take it all in stride.
They weren't satisfied before, but they are now, and signed it. So obviously, they would not have signed it if they didn't feel it was what's best for him right now.
At first, the Magic indicated that they would likely place Williams on the suspended list until he worked his way into shape and learned the Magic game. But today, Stanley Roberts sprained an ankle during practice, so he has been placed on the injured list. Williams will be activated and will be in uniform when the Magic host the Jazz Wednesday night out at the arena. For this day, 3 draft picks remain unsigned. Now there's only one. That's Luke Longley. Former Clemson forward Dale Davis signed with Indiana today, was in uniform tonight for the Pacers. He missed the first 10 games of the season for Indiana. To make room for him, Indiana waived forward Mike Sanders. And the Pacers played tonight. In fact, they and Detroit were the only ones playing in the NBA. 118-101 was the final in that one. We are a good 4 months away from the onset of season number 2 for the Orlando Thunder, but we already know what the makeup of Orlando's schedule will be next spring, a schedule that will see the Thunder play only 1 game in Europe, that against Frankfurt. Thunder will again open at home this year on March 22nd against one of the league's yet unnamed expansion teams. Orlando will then travel to Montreal. The only team in the league that the Thunder will not play is Sacramento. You'll see that the trip to Frankfurt will take place on April 25th. And that's going to just about do it tonight, and that may just about do it for the Dolphins this year.
It kind of looks that way.
A game below 500, it's going to be tough for them to get a wild card now because they have to go and play at Chicago next week. That's going to be tough.
Man, yeah.
See you later.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Coming up next, a trip to the grocery store becomes a video odyssey.
It's a high-tech helper just on the market, and just in the market. That's next. Maybe you've seen those shopping carts with calculators attached, but there's a much more sophisticated way of shopping now, and here it is.
The newest thing on the market, so to speak, comes with its own video screen to provide all kinds of consumer information. The cart tells you where items are located within the store and which items are on sale. It also gives you recipes, and of course you also have to take the commercials because the sponsors pay for those carts. The carts are being installed in Kroger stores in the Midwest. We're not sure when they'll hit our stores. Smart carts.
Movie reviews? Weird.
Movie reviews too, yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
This is tonight's official Florida Lottery Fantasy 5 game for November 18th, 1991. Supervised by Lottery Security and certified by KPMG, Pete Marwick. Fantasy 5 is won by matching 3, 4, or 5 numbers drawn tonight in any order on your ticket. Pam Helton mixes balls 1 through 39 in the randomly selected Fantasy 5 machine. Now, here are tonight's winning Fantasy 5 numbers. The first number is 39. The second number is 7. The third number is 19. The fourth number is 9. And the fifth number is 23. So tonight's winning numbers are 39, 7, 19, 9, and 23. On December 5th, 1991, the next $1 million grand prize drawing will be held in Tallahassee. Contestants are selected from entry tickets received by the lottery and can win from $10,000 to $1 million cash. Watch Saturday's lotto drawing to see if you're among the finalists.